Stas23 here. In today's night therapy, I have the QSP Penguin Plus. Now we have the complete evolution of the folding penguin. We have the original D2, then we get to the upgraded penguin. Then we have the large penguin, and now the mini penguin. Today we're going to be talking about the large. Let's put these away. The Penguin Plus comes in 7 different variations. I'll start popping them on the screen. You have a black wash with a bronze stone wash finish titanium scales. You have a blackout version. Then you have a satin bladed aluminum foiled carbon fiber variant, a black washed aluminum carbon fiber variant, a satin and copper foil carbon fiber. What do y'all think about the copper foil? I think it looks pretty cool. Then lastly, we have a black wash with the copper foil carbon fiber, and of course the one that I have here with the blasted scales and the satin blade. The titanium variations come in at $175, and those carbon fiber variations come in at $179. Let's get some quick specs out of the way. You have a total length of 7.9 inches, so not a whole lot bigger than the original. You have a blade length of 3.4 inches, so you have about a 1/4 inch longer blade. You have a grip area from here to right here of 3.4 inches, and if you want to go all the way to the back, you have a grip area of 3.76 inches. You have a pretty slender handle scale thickness of 0.42 inches, closed width in the pocket of 1.3 inches, sorry about my dog, and the blade stock thickness of 0.13 inches. The behind the edge thickness on my particular knife is around 23 thousandths, sharpened at 25 degrees per side. I would definitely love to hear y'all thoughts on the different iterations of the Penguin that we have. I think all they have left to do is make the fixed blade. And you have every complete category done from the smallest to the largest, and then a fixed blade. You know, the original Penguin, this one right here, and the D2, and I think the Blue Jean micarta one's one that kind of got popular. I think this one originally blew up in popularity because it was super affordable with a price tag that started at $25. That's what I got this one for when they first came out. And lo and behold, it was an awesome little knife for under $50 price point. They had smooth action, nice and silky smooth action, riding on washers, nice micarta, and it was a good little utility blade shape, tip up, left to right hand pocket clip. So it made sense, and they capitalized on that. You know, you start making nicer versions and then different sizes because they're going to give you what you want. Now, like I said earlier, they give you a 1/4 inch more blade on this one, and they also changed the blade steel to CPM 20 CV, which is an excellent steel. We'll see how well it performs later. The blade comes with a satin finish like on the original. You do have a row of jimping here. I'd call it mild traction. It gives you some traction, but not much. You have a nice, robust point right there for doing your drag cuts, mainly those utility style cutting. You do have a sharpening choil. As you can see, I sharpened it up after the video, and you can see that I climbed up onto that plunge line right there. It's because the sharpening choil didn't come out that far. The knife comes with a pretty robust flat grind on it. Let's see how well it performs. The knife came with a really good edge out of box. However, I really wish they would start sharpening them thinner. This one's at 25 degrees per side, and I think 17 to 18 degrees per side would have been way better, especially for the thickness behind the edge. This blade shape, however, is super excellent for cutting in-hand things. So it performed really, really well through the cardboard. No problem whatsoever. Comfortable, and yeah. Now we're going to test the ergos and how well that edge is biting into this piece of birch bark. I had a ton of power in that hammer grip, nice and comfortable. However, the scales are a little thinner, so that made me grip the knife a lot harder and somewhat started to fatigue my forearms really quickly. And I could feel that pocket clip, nothing to be concerned about, but I was gripping it really tight and the pocket clip was just noticeable. This is something that this wood knife will excel at as well. This blade shape really excels at doing those drag cuts like you see here, because you're using that tip, pulling it through the material. However, when you're cutting on a flat surface, the straight edges just don't excel. I noticed right away that whenever I was doing the slicing things like this rubber, that the tip was wanting to dig into the cutting board. And, you know, that's common. You don't have the belly to kind of maneuver around the material into the cutting board. So this is definitely not its strong suit. However, it did a fairly good job for being, you know, a straight edge knife. I couldn't really complain too much. However, I decided not to go on and do the rope cutting because it was just digging into my cutting board way too bad. But the edge held up excellent here through this 12-ounce denim, no problem. It was doing just fine. You know, it would have been nicer with a thinner edge, but I think it performed perfectly a-okay. However, after this testing, I will reprofile that edge to 20 degrees per side. Hopefully y'all enjoyed that cutting. Let's check out this edge. I know I didn't get to do the rope, but it just wouldn't have been that easy to do on a flat surface. But yeah, I figured it still has a good edge on it, a really good edge actually. So nothing to complain there. All right, now let's check out the deployment in action. This is a multiple deployment knife. You have a flipper tab and thumb stud. This is where this knife shines. The action on this thing is incredible. Nice snappy detent on the flipper tab and as well on that thumb stud. Very easy and I don't really have to think about it. Very snappy and nice and drop shut action. You do have a heavier blade that should help it fall shut. It's on cage bearings, and like I said, I love the action. It's very addictive, and it's easy to manipulate left-handed as well. One thing that I wish they would start using is the wider cage bearings. They use the really small ball bearings in their washers. Not bad, you know, like I said, it still has amazing action, but I can only imagine if they use the bigger ones, how much better it'd be. You also have a ceramic detent ball that aids in that silky smooth action. Now let's take a look at the frame. You have the QSP branded logo pivot right there. That's pretty close to countersunk. It sticks up just a little bit. One thing that I love seeing here is you have T8 hardware throughout, even on the pocket clip, the lock bar, and the thumb studs. All of them are T8. Excellent job, QSP. Wish more companies would follow suit. Your titanium frame is flat titanium here with a nice bevel going around here. They did a good job of softening the edges so there's no sharp edges where you don't want them to be. You have a massive lanyard hole right there. The pocket clip is tip up, left or right-handed deep carry, wire pocket clip at that. They did a good job of canting it to the side so you wouldn't get hung up in this lock bar cutout. Let's check it out in the pocket. I found that it carried really well in the pocket. You have a good enough ramp up there to where you can get it in thick materials as well. Now that flipper tab will come in contact with anything you put in the pocket with it. But other than that, it carries well, carries pretty darn deep, just a little bit sticking up, and carried well in my lightweight shorts also. All right, let's open it up, take a look at the inside. You have two hourglass standoffs for support in the back right here. And let's take a look. You don't have any internal milling. You know, that's how you save on cost there. Now, I don't think it's heavy by any means, but let's check it out on the scale. First off, in grams, 125.7 grams or 4.43 ounces. Not bad at all. Now, let's open it up, take a look at your lockup. This one is sitting at around, I'd say 70% or so. Absolutely no play in any direction. This thing is bank vault rock solid. That's one thing that I can't say about the knife. Also, the access to the lock bar is awesome. They have this cut out, the show side scale cut down a little bit so you can have easy access to it. And look at that nice softened area right there. Very, very comfortable to disengage that lock bar. Absolutely love it. And it's easy to disengage with that left-handed carry as well. Now for some quick size comparisons, you have the Ontario Rat Model 1 and 2. It's more in line with the Rat Model 2, but it is in between these two. You have a little bit less cutting edge than the Rat Model 1. Next up, you have the Concept Bulldozer and the CJRB Krog. It's got the same cutting edge as the Krog, and it's a little bit shorter than the Bulldozer. Lastly, we have the Kaiser full-size Sheepdog and the Demco 8020.5. It's almost identical in overall length, and you have more cutting edge than the Sheepdog. It's a good bit bigger than the Demco 8020.5. All right, now for my nitpicks and complaints. Of course, I would love to see them either thin this blade out a little bit or at least thin this edge bevel down to like 18 degrees per side. Would have made up for that thicker edge, thickness behind the edge. Also, I would have loved to see them pull this sharpening choil out a little bit further or a little bit higher so you could have a few sharpenings before that starts to widen up back there. Something that I can fix pretty easily, but not everybody wants to do that. Also, I think a little plate would have looked a lot cleaner right here, but you know, I'm okay with that. It's not that big of a deal, just a nitpick. Overall, I thought the edge held up just fine. I thought the action was outstanding. I thought it was fairly comfortable in hand. It's a nice thinner, heavier use knife. Good little work knife here. Great, great action. Definitely is probably its strong suit is that action. It's a tough one because at $175, it's a pretty pricey knife. That's not something that, you know, I'm recommending all the time unless it, you know, checks all the boxes. So this one, if you like the way it looks and nothing that I said is deal breakers for you, then I'd say, yeah, go ahead. It's a good knife. But if any of those things are deal breakers, then it's only going to make you, you know, resent the knife even more when you pick it up. So, you know, I would steer clear if any of those things are deal breakers for you that I mentioned. But overall, I like the knife. It's one that I'll continue to carry. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave them down below. I hope everybody's having an absolute amazing day. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace.